on. Ladies and gentlemen.
What do you mean you never
Good
went?
evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the show on Spreaker.
Wait, what about Blog Talk?
We logged into Blog a long time ago, but we never logged into Spreaker. That's why nobody could hear us on Spreaker. So Spreaker is now officially on.
Does that mean I have to repeat everything that I said? Because I don't remember. All I know is I'm right and you're wrong.
Okay, if you say so.
See that? Welcome to our Spreaker listeners.
Well,
okay.
Who would-be Spreaker listeners who will be going on now. And now we have I knew something was wrong because we didn't have a chat room in Spreaker. And that's because I forgot. It's been so long since we were able to do Spreaker Live. I forgot to turn it on.
I don't know why you're so excited, Felix.
It's working. That's a big deal.
Well, that could go two ways.
Huh?
Pardon my dirty mind in the gutter. You'll excuse me.
Yeah, we got to tell our intern that we were stupid.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, for those of you who've been listening for 20 minutes, I apologize if I repeat anything that I said. I'm going to try to remember some of the things. But for the people who are on Spreaker for the first time and hearing us,
Welcome.
Felix and I caught the red eye from Hamburg, Germany. We were in, I don't know if you saw us, but we were in the middle of that crowd going crazy. In fact, we were almost arrested because both of us left our press passes at home. And if we didn't have our visas, we probably would have been run in. Okay? I mean, I remember some German from high school, but not enough to get by.
1, 2, 3.
You know,
1, 2, 3.
It doesn't help when
Guten Tag.
when Felix has a mustache that looks like
Adolf.
Yeah, you know.
Did you notice what I did though? The beard is gone.
Yeah, I know. Hey, how about that? You know, and you trimmed the mustache too.
Yeah, and I got my hair cut.
Gee,
More
Felix.
in the tradition of Adolf for Germany.
Was this all for me?
No, this was all for Germany.
Did you do this for me?
No, I wanted them to think that I'm a normal person. I shaved, I cut my hair.
No, you really look good.
Yeah, that didn't work anyway.
Ladies and gentlemen, you should see him. He's a shadow of what he used to be.
Hey, look at this. Look at this. What's still there?
So you can pinch 5 inches before you were able to pinch a foot. Look at that.
Look at that.
Look at that. Boy, oh boy.
Boy, oh boy. And all right. And I think
he bought tell me, didn't you buy a Speedo for the summer?
Yeah.
Can you picture that, ladies and gentlemen?
Yeah, right?
A 66-year-old man wearing a Speedo that comes over his belly, that the belly comes over the Speedo.
Yeah, right? A whale in the Speedos.
Me, I wear a one-piece, like the ladies used to wear at the turn of the 20th century. And I tuck it in with a girdle. But
right.
Anyway, as I was saying, because we didn't have press credentials, we couldn't get inside to listen to any of what was going on. You know, they had extra headsets, but they weren't allowing the press. Trump wasn't allowing the press to stay. After he greeted the press, he told them to get lost.
I don't blame him. They're all for that fake news.
Fake news, huh?
Fake news.
Well, you know whose side I'm on. You know whose side he's on.
You know what's going on with CNN, right?
It was those 3 reporters.
It was more than that. They are down.
They did what happened to Dan Rather when Dan Rather went public with some information about Bush's time in the Air National Guard before it was vetted. And basically, CBS washed their hands of Dan Rather after all those years, which was a sin because he was a great newsman.
But how many other things did that man fake?
Who, Dan Rather?
Yeah, you
Come
don't
on,
know.
no, he didn't. You know, the
Who
only
knows?
way, hey, even on Fox News, the only way you can get fired is if you proposition one of the female reporters.
Or lie. There's no lying.
You know.
The only people who could lie, basically, are the commentators. Not lie, but slant the stories to their side, basically. Everybody knows that.
Well, that's why that's print reporters, newspaper reporters are true journalists. Okay? They have to write and print exactly what they hear.
But they don't. That's the problem. That's what happened to these three journalists. They didn't. They wrote what they wanted to hear.
Well, it was an isolated incident.
You think so?
Yeah.
Do you know what the?
Well, I know the public doesn't believe in the press.
Yeah, well, I don't blame him. Do you know where CNN now is on ratings?
It took a dive, I know.
Yeah, they're now behind Nick at Night, which is repeats of Scooby-Doo. Repeats of Scooby-Doo.
James Earl Jones still says CNN, the most trusted name in news.
Well, that's an old recording.
Well,
now you listen. You know that
listen.
You know that CNN, that Fox leans to the right. You know that
MSNBC leans to the left. And CNN was always. That's the way I always used to. You know.
Yeah, but
my dad always watched CNN because he said that's the middle of the road. He says you get both sides basically, you know.
Yeah. Hey, they hear us. She hears us. Welcome, Elisa.
Is that our intern?
Yeah. She tried to listen to us last week too, but we didn't broadcast at all. We forgot to tell you, we didn't broadcast last week.
Yes, we took the holiday off.
Yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, the chat room is open on Spreaker. It doesn't seem to want to work in
and
blog.
let's remind them now that we have Spreaker back on. Not that they can call up, but our phone number is 646-595-3275.
Of course they can call up if they want. But it doesn't seem like people wanna just. People don't like to call from Spreaker. Blog Talk Radio, the listeners are used to doing that, and they call.
I just wish a couple of our, listeners from Friday would, check out the other days, and maybe they'll find us by accident.
Yeah, right.
We used to have such loyal listeners. That's the problem when you change the day and time. Well, the time is the same, but change the day.
The day has changed, sure. But we were having problems because a lot of our listeners were just not listening on Friday night because now it's getting towards the summer and they like to go out on a Friday evening.
And the thing is, with Monday, that's why sometimes the show doesn't even last till 11 because people have to go to work the next day.
Well, maybe we should start it at 8. 8 to 10.
We can do that fine, except that
West Coast listeners.
The West Coast listeners, 8 o'clock, that means people are getting out of work at 5, and by the time they finish dinner, we'll be done. So
that's true. They'll have to listen to us like on the blog, like most of our listeners do. A majority of listeners are blog listeners, not live listeners anyway. Even though the show is done live from New York.
That's right, and I just gave you the number again. So,
and what was that?
646-595-3275. And it's really hot out there, so bring the iced coffee. Lots of ice cubes.
Oh, iced coffee, ice cubes. Yummy, yummy, yummy.
Speaking of which,
coffee in my tummy.
You want some hot coffee?
I drink hot coffee in the winter. I drink hot coffee in the summer.
That's not what I'm asking you. You want hot coffee?
Sure, why not?
All right. That's part of my job.
Yeah, why not?
Okay, folks. I'll be back.
It can't hurt. I'm going to... Where are you running off to? Oh, wait till I turn on. All right, ladies and gentlemen, today we're going to play some music.
Oh, we have a special guest artist, let me tell you.
Oh, yeah, Dr. Mark likes
Where
this
is he?
guy. Let's see, we're going to listen to today.
Damiano, Christian.
Damiana Christian from the United States.
How about that?
Okay, let's hear his bio real quick.
Yes, via the Ukraine.
There are not many young musicians nowadays that list the likes of Randy Rhoads, Mozart, Ritchie Blackmore, and Liberace at their top influences. And soon the music would learn that Damiano Christian is not your typical teenage rocker. At the time of this writing, Damiano is a guitar and piano virtuoso who hails from Middletown, Connecticut. And he says, my goal is definitely to get signed to a label and be able to tour, explains the musician.
Wait a second, don't you have a spare label? We could sign him.
But I would also like for an established band artist to hear my work and want me to play, tour, and record for them. One of my dreams since I was able to play guitar.
Shouldn't it be travel with them and not for them?
I don't know, guitar for Ozzy Osbourne and play what Randy did to on the Blizzard of Oz and Diary of the Madame Tours. There's more, but you get an idea. He's a young, bright man, a guitarist, a piano player, and a damn good singer. So
the first song is his version of "She Loves You" by the Beatles.
All right, let's go there, young
Damiano.
Damiano from Connecticut.
She said you hurt her so, she almost lost her mind.